bit about what you experience with post-production process with all the things in mind regarding what you need to deliver for your client.
So within the post-production process, many of the videos that we're producing can be as short as 5 minutes. Sometimes they might be 2 or 3 minutes, and we can sometimes gather an hour or 2 hours of interview content. So during the post-production process, we're taking those 2 hours of interviews and we're really boiling them down to the essential 5 minutes that tell the story. So definitely you're leaving a lot of sound bites on the cutting room floor, things that people have said that are important, that help to fill out the entirety of the story. And in so doing, you have to make sure as a filmmaker who has integrity that you're fairly representing them in the video, and that you're not twisting their words to say something that they really didn't mean to say. You have a lot of power as a filmmaker during the post-production process.
So that's a really valuable point. You speak of really a lot of things that are actually external pressures on the person producing any film, all the people who are involved with the creation and who are essentially accountable to their client regarding producing media content. So how do these external pressures play in? What kind of ways can it manifest itself in the way we get a final product?
I think we can understand that by looking at the extremes. So on an extreme level, if as a filmmaker, you're asked to produce a piece of propaganda, and by propaganda I mean a piece of media that is vehicling a specific agenda on behalf of some sort of institution of power. In that case, you could be asked to produce a piece of media that goes against your values. Now, that institution, it could be a large corporation, it could be a government that has certain policies that you don't agree with. And I think that it's very important as a filmmaker to be aware of what situations tend to force you to put yourself into situations that you don't want to be in. Fortunately, within the client base that I've been able to work with, they tend to be organizations that have values and are working on programs that I support, that I agree with. Now, within the details of the program, there may be certain things that I would want to question. But at the same time, we all know that it's very difficult to execute a program at any level, and therefore there are bound to be problems or shortcomings. So it's not really my place to use my privileged perspective as a filmmaker who gets to go in and ask a bunch of questions to a bunch of people within the organization, to use that position to begin to kind of dig around and try to find something, some dirty little secret or some source of conflict, but rather to do what it is that the client has asked me to do, which is to fairly represent the values and the good work that they are trying to achieve. The collaboration, usually they're public health programs or environmental programs or education programs, so they do have important objectives. And I always see it as my duty to do my best to fairly represent what they're doing, and then if there are certain concerns that need to be addressed, to consult with the client and ask them if that's something that they would want to introduce in the video, because it helps give the audience a fair kind of perspective on that program.
Which are not visible to the eye, but which are rapid enough to be sensed by the ear.